In 1998, they refused to buy Google for $1 million. In 2006, they refused to buy Facebook for $1 billion. In 2008, they refused to sell to Microsoft for $44.6 billion. On July 25th, 2017, the company that once was the entire internet sold its core business to Verizon for $4.48 billion. This is the story of Yahoo, a company that had the chance to own the future but chose to buy its own grave instead. To understand the magnitude of the collapse, you need to understand the absolute dominance of the empire. In 1994, two Stanford graduate students, Jerry Yang and David Filo, created a directory of websites. They called it Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web. A year later, they renamed it Yahoo. Before search engines could intelligently index the web, Yahoo was the map. The early internet was chaotic. Yahoo organized it into neat, clickable categories. If you wanted to go online, you went through Yahoo. It was the front door to the digital world. By 1998, they were generating 1 million hits a day. By January 2000, at the peak of the dot-com bubble, Yahoo's valuation hit an unprecedented $125 billion. They weren't just a website, they were the internet itself. They had infinite cash, total market awareness, and the attention of the entire connected planet. But having the map doesn't mean you know where you're going. The destruction of Yahoo was not an overnight event. It was a slow-motion car crash, driven by an illusion of invincibility. It began with the first of 4 catastrophic decisions. Two Stanford students approach Yahoo. Their names are Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They have a new search algorithm called PageRank. They want to sell it for $1 million. Yahoo says no. To understand why, you have to understand Yahoo's business model. Yahoo was a portal. Their goal was to keep users on their site as long as possible to show them banner ads. PageRank was a search engine designed to do the exact opposite. It was fast. It found the right answer and sent users away immediately. To Yahoo's executives, sending traffic away was commercial suicide. They passed on the deal. Google was born. 4 years later, the internet had changed. The directory model was dead. Search was everything. And Google was growing at a terrifying speed. Yahoo's CEO at the time was Terry Semel. Semel was not a tech visionary. He was a Hollywood executive. He spent 24 years running Warner Brothers. He didn't understand algorithm. He understood media, content, and distribution. He viewed Yahoo as a digital television network, but Semel realized they needed a search engine. He flew to Silicon Valley and offered Page and Brin $3 billion to buy Google outright. Google's founders demanded $5 billion. Semel refused. He approached the negotiation like a Hollywood studio boss haggling over a movie budget. He thought Google was overvalued. He walked away over a $2 billion difference. Today, Alphabet's market cap hovers around $2 trillion. 4 years later, Semel had a chance to buy the next generation of the internet. A 22-year-old Mark Zuckerberg was willing to sell his college network, Facebook. The agreed price was $1 billion. The paperwork was being drafted. It was a done deal. But exactly at that moment, Yahoo released a poor quarterly earnings report. Their stock took a 22% hit. Semel panicked. He called Zuckerberg and lowered the offer to $850 million to save $150 million. Semel changed the terms at the finish line. Zuckerberg stood up, walked out of the room, and the deal was dead. Semel tried to reoffer the $1 billion later, but the window had closed. Today, Meta is worth over $1.2 trillion. By 2008, the bleeding was visible. Google had won search, Facebook was winning social, Yahoo was stuck in the middle, a portal from a bygone era. Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer saw an opportunity. He wanted to combine Microsoft's engineering with Yahoo's remaining audience to create a unified front against Google. He made a hostile bid, $44.6 billion. It was a 62% premium over Yahoo's stock price. It was a massive, generous lifeline for a dying company. Yahoo's board, now led by founder Jerry Yang, rejected it. Their official statement claimed the offer substantially undervalued the company. The arrogance was blinding. Microsoft withdrew the offer. Yahoo's stock immediately collapsed. The last exit had been missed. What followed was a decade of slow, agonizing decay. A revolving door of CEOs tried to fix a fundamentally broken machine. They lacked a core identity. Were they a tech company, a media company, an advertising platform? No one knew. In 2012, the board made their final gamble. They hired Google's star executive, Marissa Mayer, to save the ship. Mayer's strategy was aggressive. If Yahoo couldn't build relevance, they would buy it. She went on an unprecedented spending spree, acquiring 53 different startups. The crown jewel of this strategy was Tumblr, purchased in 2013 for $1.1 billion. It was a catastrophic culture clash. Yahoo's rigid corporate structure suffocated Tumblr's eccentric user base. Yahoo promised not to screw it up. Within 3 years, they were forced to write down Tumblr's value by $712 million. They bought a cultural phenomenon and turned it into a financial liability. But the acquisitions were just a distraction from the fatal rot inside the company's core infrastructure. While leadership was busy doing high-profile tech deals, they neglected basic security. Between 2013 and 2014, Yahoo suffered a data breach. Hackers compromised names, email addresses, telephone numbers, and encrypted passwords. How many users were affected? At first, Yahoo said 500 million, then a billion. In 2017, the final terrifying truth came out. Every single account on the Yahoo network had been compromised, all 3 billion of them. It remains the largest data breach in human history. Worse, the company had kept the extent of the hack hidden for years. The brand was no longer just outdated, it was radioactive. Trust was entirely destroyed. The business was functionally dead. On July 25th, 2017, the execution was finalized. Verizon Communications bought Yahoo's core internet business. Its search, its email, its news, its advertising tools, they sold it for $4.48 billion. Look at that trajectory. The company that turned down $44.6 billion from Microsoft sold itself for 1/10 of the price, less than a decade later. They were merged with AOL, another relic of the 90s, into a new division. The independent empire was gone. What exactly went wrong? A collapse this massive doesn't happen by accident. It came down to 3 fatal mistakes. First, they valued audience over technology. Yahoo thought keeping users trapped on their homepage was more important than building the best tools. They passed on Google because PageRank sent people away too fast. They believed their portal was a walled garden. They forgot that on the internet, the best product always wins, not the biggest front door. Second, they applied old world logic to a new world economy. Terry Semel ran Yahoo like a Hollywood studio. He haggled with a 22-year-old Mark Zuckerberg over a $150 million price drop. He refused to pay a $2 billion premium for Google because he thought it was overvalued. He treated exponential tech growth like a standard television contract, and it cost Yahoo trillions. Third, they let pride blind their math. In 2008, Microsoft offered $44.6 billion. It was a golden parachute for a company that was already in freefall. But Yahoo's board, blinded by what their stock used to be worth in the year 2000, rejected the lifeline. They held out for a past that was never coming back. So that is the story of Yahoo, the company that could have owned Google, the company that could have owned Facebook, the company that had the entire digital world in its hands before anyone else knew what the internet was. The lesson is brutal. You can build the front page of the internet. You can be the biggest name in the world. You can have endless resources, massive traffic, and the smartest executives money can buy. But in technology, arrogance is the most expensive luxury on earth. The moment you think the future needs your permission to happen, you are already history.